Welcome back to another jam-packed video. Just wanted to get on here real quick and give you the next tidbit. What fields of study is going to guarantee dollar signs? Before I get into that, we'll talk about the Higher Education Act, the Gainful Employment Rule, and then that's how this data was collected, and then I'll share that data. Okay, so the Higher Education Act requires that all career education programs receiving federal student aid prepare students for gainful employment in a recognized occupation. The HEA does not define gainful employment, but in 2014, the Education Department adopted Gainful Employment Rule, providing a definition of how career training programs could demonstrate they met this requirement. So basically, in short, this is a rule that ensures that programs and colleges are meeting the standard to where when a person graduates, they can make sure their earning potential is going to be greater than their debt that they accrued, and basically underlying that real world application of the field that they just studied. But this is no longer something that is currently being put into place, which also did save taxpayers money, by the way. The Trump administration, as of July 1st, 2019, rescinded this act, and so colleges and programs no longer have to meet a certain qualification to make sure that they are preparing students for gainful employment. But this is where we're getting the data collection and where we're getting the information as far as what programs and what fields of study actually generate good earning potentials to where you're able to pay off your student loans. And this was data that was collected back in 2014 to 2016. Now, the information that I got as far as for-profit versus non-profit and how they're actually doing about the same when it comes to gainful employment, so graduating from a for-profit or a non-profit and actually going to a place where you're making money more than your debt, they're both in the same place as far as passing or failing this gainful employment rule. So programs that would receive a pass for the gainful employment rule would have low debt relative to their earning potential, and those that fail have high debt relative to their earnings. So what they did in order to collect this data was a year after a person graduated, they followed them, and then they got a median income for that field, that study. So let's just say psychologists, all the psychology students from for-profit, non-profit, and public institutions, all of the different colleges, they collected the data, followed them a year after, figured out what their median income was and what their debt was, and that's how they collected this information. Okay, so first things first, to debunk the myth that for-profit is better than non-profit or non-profit is better than for-profit when it comes to these statistics here, and I'm going to share this website down below in the description so that way you can read it as well. This article was put out January 16th of this year, so this is very current relative data. Private for-profit programs, only 55.6% of their programs would have passed, meaning that the earning potential is greater than the debt. 55.6%. Sorry, I got a text message. Okay, so private for-profit programs, 55.6% would have passed the standard. Only 20% would have failed. Now, nonprofit comes in at 59% passing. That's it, 55.6 for for-profit and 59% for non-profit. So they're not doing that much better. Excuse me. And 18% of non-profits would have failed. The best institution was the public institution. They had 70% passing rates for their programs and only 7.2% of their programs failed. So there really isn't a competition between for-profit and non-profit. Public wins by a lot. So really, it should be public against private. Now, moving on to the reason why you're here: college earnings and debt by major. So you want to figure out what is going to be the best. And not a surprise, dentistry comes in at the top. I mean, dentists, if you think about it, that's a service that you usually through your employer get health insurance through, but your health insurance still doesn't help out that much when you go to the dentist. You still end up having to pay a pretty significant amount out of pocket for dentistry, depending on the services that you're getting. But my point is that I wasn't surprised when I saw them at the top of the list, needless to say. I'm also putting the link down below for this texaspolicy.com where it shows you all of this information. So that way you can go ahead and take a look through and play around with it. Because as you can see on the side, what colleges and or degrees are you interested in? So it helps you to be able to get data based on the fields that you enter here, that you enter in here on the left-hand side. So I thought that was really cool. And I just wanted to share that because every Thursday I'm going to be dropping a video that's going to inform, enlighten, and equip you to make the best decision for you on what you're going to be pursuing your higher education in. And is it worth it for you? Is it worth it? Are your earnings going to be able to help you to pay that debt off? Is it worth it? So here's a list of all the different majors and programs and their success rates, their fail rates, how many people actually finish the program, things like that. Really great data, and it tells you how they collected this data. All that information is right here at texaspolicy.com, and I'm leaving the link down below in the description. So that's what I'm here to do, help you out. If you have any additional questions about how to use the tool, or any additional questions about anything that I've spoken about, if you need help, I'm here. I'll be happy to help you out. But just leave any questions, comments, or encouragement down below in the comments. But I just really wanted to share this because I thought this was so good, and I wish that I had seen this, because maybe I'd be a dentist. No, I don't like looking inside people's mouths. It's actually quite gross. But there's something for everybody, right? Again, if you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer. And again, I'll be here next week, Thursday. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. College and career tips. All right. Hope you have a wonderful week and see you next week.